Welcome to the No Name Brand Podcast. My name is Sashka Hanarappel, actress, singer, dancer, turned brand marketing, sales, and advertising strategist who brands your soul. And each week I bring you an inspiring person or message to help you discover your underdog, turn up your leadership notches, challenge the status quo, because you're fast and furious with a powerful message to share with the world. Thank you for taking time out with me today, and without further ado, let's get our creative and wisdom juices flowing. And we are back, creative visionaries, for another No Name Brand podcast session with moi, Seshka, where I invite inspiring and visionary guests from around the world. I got to make a song out of that. Around the world, to share their thought leadership on entrepreneurship. Now, their world and business philosophy, and at the same time, because I'm all about putting knowledge into action, learning something new that you can implement today to be the change that you want to see and be in the world. Yes, please. Now, today's guest is a needed addition to the episodes we've had over the years, visionaries. You see, our guest works as a child sleeping expert. Oh, yes, please, Lord. Now, what I have found over the years is that often when we as adults have sleeping problems, there are many factors attributing to that. But what we can learn from our next guest is how to enforce happy sleeping habits for our children that we can use as adults too, and see where we kind of went wrong along the way, you know? Because what we plant, what we're going to sow, we're also going to reap. There is so much debate around how much sleep one should actually be having. And I know I can only speak out of my experience that if I have less than 6 to 8 hours sleep, I'm a grouch. And being an energy being as well, I need sleep to regenerate. If I don't have that, I'm pretty much a big time grouch, and my family and friends can vouch for that. And my kids, yes, they're nasty when they don't get enough sleep. Anybody else? Anybody else? Yes. But my kids are now older, and myself as an adult, well, I'm older too. But how in the hell do you get babies to sleep through the night? There isn't an off button. Did anyone find an off button? I didn't find an off button. Well, our next guest has spent over 50,000 sleep hours. 50,000! How many hours have I slept? I don't know. I'll have to go and count that. Training babies, and many of her clients have anointed her the miracle worker. I sure as hell would have anointed her that as well, as they have been overjoyed after her methods restored sleep in their homes. There's nothing nicer. You know that saying? Sleep like a baby. Babies don't sleep. So her sleep advice has been shared across her social media platforms to over 12,000 tired mamas. And her sleep advice has been featured on Yahoo Finance, Care.com, Mom.me, and she has appeared as the guest expert on Austin's ABC affiliate TV show, Studio 512, not to mention sharing the stage with Dr. Harvey Karp of The Happiest Baby on the Block and Dr. Jen Mann of VH1 Couples Therapy. Damn. Now, on a personal note, our guest is born and bred in Texas. One day I'll get that damn Texas accent. Yow. But found herself in San Francisco with so many professions under her belt, she was stuck on her purpose and what it was that she wanted to do with her life and career. Anyone know that? Anyone know that? Mm-hmm. Our guest comes from a long line of entrepreneurs. And even though being a business owner was in her genes, it was finding her thing that held her stuck. It took almost losing everything, ain't that the way it goes, thank you, universe, to finally finding that one thing that really mattered to her most. She took the time to stop running from thing to thing, and after losing both her parents to cancer, she had her wake-up call to get her butt into gear. It was probably them kicking her butt into gear, like, girl, you go and get that now, and get her business off the ground. She quit her job with no savings and a hunch, and from her start in 2008 to now, the journey has gone from success to success. I like stories like this, people. So let's give our next guest a round of applause for the one and only Tamiko Kelly. Hello, Tamiko.
Ooh, and the crowd goes wild.
How are you?
I am good. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Have you had enough sleep?
I have, yes. Thank baby Jesus. I have had enough sleep. Yes.
That is awesome, awesome, awesome. So the way the podcast runs is that we're going to 3 different sections or little elements or little tiers, whatever you want to call it. We start off with entrepreneurship, go a little bit in philosophy, and then what I like to do is apply the knowledge that we have learned. So get some tips and tricks from Tamiko, because that's what we like to do. So let's start off. Now, you had a hunch to start Sleep Well, which is your business. And for the listeners listening, the website is called sleepwellwakehappy.com. Isn't that brilliant? Oh, yes, yes. And you started this in 2008. Now, what was the hunch and how did you find the courage to act on it?
So back in 2008, I was already doing date nights for families. And so I was the one putting babies down to sleep. And it became wildly apparent to me that parents had no idea how to get their parents to sleep. How to get their babies to sleep. But it was so easy to me. And that is when the idea popped in my mind. I was like, oh, this could actually be a business. Now, back then, I didn't realize all the ins and outs and like what it would look like. But, just from all the families that I work with, I was like, okay, this could actually be, a profitable business. And so that's really how it started, just being a date night nanny and then seeing the struggles that parents deal with and how easy it was for me.
What I find really interesting in this, and I think a lot of our listeners go through this as well, is that you see the need, you want to fill it, and you have entrepreneurship genes in your blood. So you're going, all right, I'm going to start a business out of this. So how did you actually, because you're looking after babies, but you're not charging from a business perspective, you're charging from a babysitting perspective. And it's not as much as a business perspective. So how did you bridge the gap between baby putting to sleep sitting and actually in your business where you go, oh, hello, I don't babysit, but I actually put your babies to sleep. And this is what I charge, where they're going, what?
Yeah. So when I first started, I had no idea what I was doing. I literally just put the number out of thin air and said, okay, this is the number that I'm going to charge per hour. I basically based it on what I was charging for date nights and just added more money to it. So there was no rhyme or reason. There was no science, no business plans, no Google spreadsheet pivot tables. It was literally just, add a couple more dollars, add some more money, and then we'll see how this goes. It wasn't until I was in business out of what I call the testing phase to see if I actually number one liked it and to see if people would actually pay for it. It wasn't until I left that stage where I was like, okay, this is actually hard work. So I need to, increase the prices to reflect all of the time and effort that goes into helping these families get a good night's sleep. And so it took me a while to actually sit down and be like, okay, to be profitable, you have to charge X, Y, and Z kind of thing.
Yeah. It's such a needed need. How was it in your surroundings and then finding the clients? Because what we entrepreneurs tend to do, which is very normal, is then we want to validate and prove ourselves. So someone comes and you go, oh, well, I'm a child sleeping expert. And people are like, oh, what? Excuse me, come by. What do? You earn money for that? No. And then you start proving, validating yourself. Did you go through that phase as well? And how did you overcome that, if you did?
I did when I was earlier in my career because I did not know how to clearly and succinctly tell people what I do. Mm-hmm. And so because of that caused me to be unsure of what I was doing, which then that energy shifted to them. And so they were just like, girl, wait, what are you talking about? And so it was this volley of back and forth of, I said this and they were like, tell me more. And then they were like, I don't understand that. And so it was just this whole thing going on. Now I don't have that issue anymore. But in the beginning, I most definitely did feel like I had to prove myself. But now I know that my worth is not tied to what other people think of me. And so it is what it is at this
I
point.
love that. I love that. So, when you get to that point in your business, like you say now, you get to the point where you're like, hey, now I'm on TV, I'm on radio stations, I'm with Dr. Harvey Karp and Dr. Jen Mann. How did you get around to that? How did you jump from there to now, or in between getting, monetizing your network?
I think for me, it really started with me just saying, okay, this is what I want to do. Because I think of many times as entrepreneurs, we hold ourselves back for, maybe the fear of judgment. Maybe we think that we're not good enough, or we think that we have to get 15 more certificates and work with 25 more clients before we are worthy of now being shared with the masses, right? And so I think for me, what really happened is when I said, okay, this is what I want to do. I enjoy doing this work, and I really want to help more people. And in order to do that, I need to get in front of more people. And so I chose, how do I want to do that? I enjoy speaking in front of people. I'm ENFJA, so people give me energy. I'm not shy at all. I've never met a person who I couldn't find something in common with. So I chose to do speaking. And then I also chose, in speaking comes in lots of forms, podcasts, TV, being on stages. So that was the route that I chose to amplify my message. There's many, many, many routes that we could choose as entrepreneurs to amplify. That's just the one that I chose. And now with social media, you can be a speaker without having to go on a plane and go anywhere. You can just turn on your phone, go on IG Live or Facebook Live, and you can be speaking to thousands upon thousands of people.
Yeah, so true, so true. So share with us, why do babies not sleep through the night? What is it there?
Well, I think honestly, the main thing is that parents have to understand that babies, they don't know how to sleep. So it's just like once we are out of our mama's wombs and we are here, I call it out in the wild now. So,
Cool. My baby's out in the wild, people. I get that.
Right. So once we're out in the wild now, we no longer have her to provide our needs. So we have to learn how to breathe on our own, do everything on our own. And one of the last things that we learn how to do is sleep. And as parents, we just want the best for our kiddos, right? And so anytime we hear them squirming, moving, any noises, we want to immediately run in there and be like, oh my God, what's happening? What's going on? Like, why is she doing this? Or why is he doing this? And so because of that, many times parents prevent their babies from learning how to just be. So just learning just how to just be in a room, be in a crib, and just be okay with just being and not always being attended to every second of every day, right? And so because of that, we teach them this habit that every time I cry, somebody's going to come rush in here, pick me up, give me a bottle, give me a pacifier, rock me, whatever, which in the beginning, we all know is required, right? It's a brand new baby. They need a lot of your attention. But what happens is that many parents never get out of that newborn phase. They'll have a 9-month-old and they're still doing the same things that they were doing when their baby was 6 weeks or 2 weeks old. In their eyes, their baby is still, like if they had a NICU baby, their baby's still in the incubator in the NICU. Or if they had an early term baby, their baby is still, sick or still, fragile. And so many times we see our babies as one thing, but they've grown into something else, which is why we're always interacting with them, always trying to help them. And so we prevent them from learning something that I believe is a true gift. One of the best gifts that parents can give their children, which is to learn how to fall and stay asleep. Because that gift will serve them well for years to come. I know so many adults who can't sleep at night, who literally spend half the night thoughts racing up and down for whatever reason and are just exhausted and crazy the next day. And so I always tell parents, give your kids this gift now, because I'm telling you, to be able to fall asleep, and it is truly a gift. There's so many people who they literally want to sleep, but just can't. They can't turn their minds off to do that.
I mean, there's so many, the saying, the night owls, where they just,
Yes.
and they go through the day where they're just kind of like doing their thing, but then they're the night owls and then they're staying awake all the time because they just can't go to sleep. Does that have something to do with how we've been taught how to sleep? And something that I wanted to come back to that you spoke about is in the newborn phase is where you're attending to the baby. And as each baby person is its own person, I don't want to really put a month or a week onto when is the right time.
Right, exactly.
What are the signals that we're looking for to go, all right, it's enough now. So I don't have to carry on faffing over you till, after 9 months, or I don't want, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest signals the parents need to look for in their baby is that when their baby is just content playing by themselves, let them do that. Like, don't feel like you have to be the person always entertaining your child. Help them to understand the importance of sitting with themselves and being okay with being by themselves and being happy by themselves. I think in America especially, there's so much media and so many people telling parents you have to be with your baby all the time. If you leave them for 1 minute, they're going to feel abandoned and lost and not cared for. And it's just like, stop. Like, that is not based in reality. Parents have to pee, have to take a shower, they have to answer a phone call, return an email, and their baby is not going to lose their life if they have to sit in the crib for a couple of minutes while mom goes and gets the laundry in the next room or goes to attend to brother and help with his homework. Like, it's okay. So I think parents just lowering the bar and being like, it's okay for my baby to just be okay with being and not needing me to entertain them every second of every day.
The question I want to ask is, in our society today, is it because we have so much guilt? Because I come from South Africa, so from African villages, you have villages that help you look after your children. So sister will be carrying the baby on their back, and then it's passed out and fallen asleep and you're just doing your thing. But the baby's always with someone in the family or in the village. And as a parent in the society that we have today, we don't have a village. We have ourselves and ourselves and ourselves. And you're trying to fend for everyone. Do you think it has something to do with that as well?
I mean, definitely. I mean, I think one of the biggest lies that mothers are told is that you have to be there for your children no matter what. It doesn't matter the cost to you. So if they need you, you have to drop whatever you're doing and you have to run to their aid. And that kind of thinking really causes moms to be extremely anxious, extremely exhausted, and really at the end of the day, depleted, to the point to where you've passed exhaustion and now you're walking into crazy land. You know how like you get so tired to where you're just like, I don't know what day it is. I don't know what time it is.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that's what happens when you operate from that place. And quite honestly, I tell my clients all the time, there's no excuse not to get the help you need. We live in an app-rich world. There are apps that can literally help you do anything. So if you need a nanny or a babysitter so that you can go run out and have some me time, open up the app and get somebody over here to help you with your baby. Or if you need to get groceries, open up the app and have somebody bring it to your house so that you don't have to traipse through the grocery store with 3 kids. If you need your house cleaned, open up the app and get somebody over to clean your house. Like, nobody's giving out Girl Scout badges for the most exhausted mom, right? And so it's totally okay.
Damn it, get my Girl Scout badge. Damn it.
So it's totally okay to get the help you need and to be unapologetic about it. And if you have people in your life who are judgy McJudgersons, who are just like, well, you're not a good mom because you're getting all that help. But then, girl, number one, erase them from your life. And number two, quit telling people your business. Like, you don't have to tell them what's going on in your house. It's your freaking house. Like, you don't have to explain what happens in your house to anybody else.
I love that. I love that. Girl Scout badge. Damn it. I slaughtered away with my gift. So I forgot, because I got so excited about my questions, but coming back to my question about night owls, how is that influenced anything? Like, my daughter's a night owl. A girl, she can party all night long. She talks herself to sleep. I'm like, girl,
you're like, go to bed now. It's time. It's night. So there are, there have been studies that show that some people have a more propensity to be up later, like they get their second wind at night.
Great.
They're just like, oh, okay, it's 10 o'clock. Let's hang out. Which, and a lot of that has to do with how much stimulation our children deal with on a day-to-day basis. There has never been a time in society where children have so many screens available to them. We have phones, we have mobile devices, we have TVs. Now you got TVs in your car, TVs at the doctor's office, dentist's office, on the train, on the bus, like everywhere you look, there's a screen. And for some kids, all of that stimulation makes it very hard for them at night to wind down, to get quiet so that they can go to sleep. And so one of the biggest things I tell my clients is just turn off all devices, right around the 6 or 7 o'clock time at night. Give your child a chance to just be in a house that's full with voices instead of TVs and everything else that's going on, so that their mind can calm down. Because I don't know about you, if a TV is on, I'm not going to sleep. I could be tired all day. I could be like, I'm exhausted. But I was like, I got to finish this movie. I can't go to bed until the last scene is on. And so think about how your kids feel when they're watching TV right before bed. It's harder for their minds to be like, okay, the movie's over. We're done now. Let me calm down and go to sleep.
Yeah. I mean, I know my daughter will pretty much be like that. My niece, she doesn't, like my middle daughter, they're not interested in like a lot of TV and screen time and stuff like that, but they just never come down. They're on a freaking high all the time. I'm just like, just sleep. No. They're in their own imagination world. I'm like, damn, girl, what are you on to? All over the place. But yeah, so pretty interesting. Is there somehow, or what do you recommend for parents, preventing sleepless nights? How can moms, dads prevent sleepless nights prior to the baby's arrival? So prepare themselves. Can you actually prepare yourself?
Oh my gosh. No, you definitely can prepare yourself. Inside of my baby sleep training program, the Feel Like Yourself Again Baby Sleep Solution, literally one of the pillars of that program is called Prep and Plan. And this is where I walk parents through exactly how to prepare themselves for sleep training, because there are things you can do. One of the biggest things you can do is determine where you want your baby to sleep. So many parents have their baby sleeping in the living room one night, their bedroom the next night, in the nursery the following night, then they got them in the car seat, in the carrier, they're bouncing them. Like, okay, just figure out where you want your baby to sleep. And of course, to be safe, we all know car seats are not approved for babies to sleep. So I always recommend just a crib in the nursery. Like, let's just start there. That's just the easiest way. Number one, to build good sleep habits, get them used to sleeping in their own space. And then, parents also, a big thing is just to pick a bedtime. So many parents, they really wrestle with this. They're like, oh, one day it'll be 6, and then at grandma's house it's 11. And then when we're going here, it's going to be 12. And then after soccer, it's going to be 9. And it's just like, okay, just pick a bedtime and stick to that bedtime, and realize that your baby may not be able to go with you to every single thing that you do because they need to go to sleep, and that's okay. They have a whole lifetime to go to basketball games and football games and everything else. Yes.
Oh, I love that. So coming on to implementing what we've learned today and some more things that we can learn, what you offer is, when you break it down, it's simple, real, practical advice. And we tend to overcomplicate things. I don't know what it is, but we tend to overcomplicate. What are your 5 steps to sleep success that you can share with the listeners today for them or their children, or something for them to think about to get them tangible results starting today?
Yeah, I mean, the first one is what I just discussed is prep and plan. Get the nursery set up. Most people have a nursery and it's a museum full of beautiful things that people go in and say, "Oh, that's so cute," but it's never used. It's no functionality in the house. So use the nursery. So get it set up for your sleep success. That's step number one. And step number two is what I really feel, and I see this all the time when I'm in parents' homes is schedule and routine. So many moms say, I just want to, live life on the go. I want to be loosey goosey. I don't want to be too restrictive on my baby. I want them to just be able to sleep wherever. And I'm like, girl, well, first of all, they have to be sleeping. In order for them to sleep anywhere, they have to sleep somewhere. And right now, there's no sleep happening at all. So let's just start with the basics, schedule and routine. And all that means is that you figure out when your baby should be awake and when they should be sleeping and have that to a routine so that it's easy for them to get into a rhythm of sleep, right? So that's step number two. Step number three is all about the sleep props. Like we all have them, right? Whether you're breastfeeding to sleep, rocking to sleep, holding to sleep, singing to sleep, or maybe you're walking, driving your baby to sleep. Maybe it's two of y'all, so it's a tag team sleep thing going on. We really want to, sit down and eliminate those because those are what's holding you back from truly getting your baby to sleep. It's just like what you and I talked about earlier. It's like we have to get out of that newborn stage because your baby is only a newborn for a very small amount of their time. And once they leave that stage, they don't need that same level of care, that same interaction, that same intervention from you as they get older. It's just like when you have a toddler, they're going to eventually become a 20-year-old college student who wants nothing to do with you. And that's okay. It's just the evolution of your kiddos, right? So that's step number three. And then step number four, it's really all about figuring out your baby's personalities. I break it down into four different types, but I think, many times, many of the methods are just kind of one size fits all. I have a square program, fit your triangle baby into my square program. And that's just not how I approach sleep training. There's four different personality types for babies that I go through inside of my program, and I help you figure out which one is the one for your baby. Then once we figure out that personality type, then we can start sleep training now. So as you notice, sleep training is step number five, not step number one. And I think that's another thing that parents, get caught up on. They want to go right into sleep training. And it's like, no, no. There's things that we have to do so that sleep training is successful in the beginning versus trying, getting frustrated, it not working, and then giving up and just saying,
Lovely.
oh, I guess they don't need any sleep. And it's like, no, no, no. They need lots of sleep, girl. Lots and lots of sleep.
I love that. I love that. I didn't get what was step number five?
Sleep training is step number five.
Sleep
So
training.
actually,
Yeah.
so once you have your baby's personality type, you're going to match it to a method now so that you can start successfully sleep training your baby the first time. So you don't have to be hitting your head against the wall like, oh my God, why is she sleeping? Why isn't this working? So you know that you'll be successful right out the gate.
I think that's so important, especially for the listeners listening, the creative visionaries as well, is that, as I said, it's a simple methodology that you have that's practical, that you can apply. And with creative visionary, because you have so many ideas, you're scared, in inverted commas, of bringing on board boundaries because you think you're going to limit yourself. But
Mm-hmm.
the boundaries help you go, this is my safe space. Now, when I push this, I'm in my not safe space. So
Mm-hmm.
I know where I can push the envelope. But if you
Right.
have nothing, you're just
Mm-hmm.
grappling you all the time. So there's no sleep. I'm not having any sleep. I'm a
Right.
grouch. The kids a grouch. Everyone's a grouch. It's just like, just damn it. So you just make things easier by creating steps,
Right.
boundaries, sleep training, knowing the personality, putting these things into place.
Yes.
I love that, Tamiko. Thank you so much for that. I ask my guests two questions as we come to a close, and I'd like to know what your answers are on that.
Ooh.
So, how would you like to change or challenge the world doing what you do?
For me, I'm on a mission to help 1 million families get a good night's sleep by 2025. And so for me, it's just about changing the narrative around sleep and sleep training. Right now, sleep training has a very big branding problem where it's seen as evil and you're a horrible parent if you do it. And my goal is to reframe that, to say that it's the best gift that you can give your child, to teach them how to sleep without your help, so that as they grow, mature, and basically get their wings and fly away from you, they have a skill that will serve them literally for the rest of their lives.
That is so important. I mean, sleep has become a huge thing. I think I personally first started hearing about sleep, in inverted commas, with Arianna Huffington. When she brought a book out about it, and then Elon Musk and Gary Vaynerchuk, and how nobody sleeps and everything, and how it started becoming a really big thing. You can see the patterns now when speaking with an expert such as yourself, where it starts and how it affects the generations to come. And I love that vision. It's so, so, so important. Thank you for that. Oh, my darling, I am here to interrupt this interview just really, really quickly to inform you that I have something for you if you are new to business and you need a business plan. I have a breakthrough business plan just for you. All you need to do is go clickety-click all the way to learn.brandsashka.com and you will find it. Woohoo! And now let us get back to the interview. Au revoir. I'd like you to fill in the blanks for 3 of my 5 highest values and what they mean to you. Okay. So passion for you is?
Doing what I want when I want.
I am.
There you go.
I love that. Wisdom for you is?
Learning from the mistakes of others.
Cool. Creativity for you is?
I think I'm my most creative on a beach somewhere. So I think creativity for me is definitely tied to water, sand, ocean, and just doing what fills my cup. So whether that's art, whether that's creating a new offer for my business, whether that's doing nothing.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. Tamiko, thank you so much for being with us here and taking the time to share your wisdom, your creativity, your passion, your excitement for helping 1 million parents to help get their babies to sleep. Yes, please. Thank you very, very much for that and for honoring your gifts and your talents and following that hunch, or having mom and dad kick you in the butt and go, follow that hunch. You can find out more about Tamiko in the show notes, where she is on social media, her website, which is sleepwellwakehappy.com. You can find out her favorite book, her favorite quote, and get in contact with her. She has a program as well that she can assist you with. Sounds very interesting, as well as knowing what those 4 personalities are of the babies. Thank you very, very much for being with us here today.
Thank you for having me.
And to my listeners, remember to be fast and furious and to be the change that you want to see and be in the world. Love you lots and see you again next week. Bye-bye. Dang, that was just supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I enjoyed having you on board, and please do me and you a favor. Head on over to iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. Click subscribe, and a super bonus, leave your review and you stand a chance of being announced and advertised on the show. I'm always striving to ensure that your brand is uplifted and empowered. Remember, done is better than perfect. So be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and send in your feedback too. You're the absolute best. Keep rocking.